Good morning, beautiful people, and my name remains Ready Blame, and with me in the studio is
Mustafa Malik.
Alhaji, how are you?
I'm good, and you?
I'm okay. So today we'll be discussing with you the, especially the headline stories, trending headline stories, and issues that borders the nation. Also, we want to talk about campaign and policies making have to do with CBN governor versus National Assembly. And we also heard that some lawyers have also written, have not taken CBN and have sued CBN and LSC all to court, and they've written to President Buhari and all. But the point, let's just look at the incident that happened in the in Lagos market, the fire outbreak in the market, and a lot of people lost their goods. And what is your stake about that?
Thank you very much. The fact is that I don't see any state having a good market structure and emergency situation mechanism. I don't see any state.
I think some,
and
some
states are more better, but it's all about private companies coming to the aid of the state government to fight fire. That is the situation. In Lagos is huge with over 20 million population and with series of market. No matter the emergency situation, people could still hamper the effort by the firefighting department to quench the fire. It's really sad. Well, we just have to move forward from the old market structure to modern market structure. We don't, in the situation whereby government want to fight an emergency situation like that, certainly new lockup shops will be built. Once new lockup shops are being built, they should create an emergency situation whereby to say, okay, this is the exit route or the entry route, whereby in case of fire of this nature, this is where the fire servicemen can come in and move out. But you understand that in Lagos, because of the congestion, it will be always very difficult for the firefighting department to move in and quench fire on time. That is the situation. So other states too should borrow a cue from here. Even in Abuja here, you discover that a particular fire incident in one particular place, Julius Berger have to come in to assist the firefighting department. That is the situation. Is it that the private companies have more emergency firefighting equipment more than the government? That is not supposed to be so.
Right, thank you so much. First to discuss this one will be on the Punch newspaper. So on the Punch newspaper we have Katsina youth protest hardship stone officials during Buhari visit. We have AGF paid, that's Attorney General Federation, paid 446 million Ajakuta judgment debt. Let's just look at Ajakuta still.
Yeah. That particular incident happened during OBG administration, yes, whereby they went into a kind of a privatizing or bringing the Indians. The Indians now came along the line now. They now aborted it. During the Yaradua time, they aborted it, and eventually the company now decided to sue the federal government because it's the federal government that reneged on their own part. It's really sad that Nigerian government is going to pay over 400 million just because of one particular policy that was done. These are kind of waste that we're talking about. This kind of waste is not supposed to be allowed to happen in the next dispensation, in the next administration. We shouldn't allow it. Any government is like a continuum. It's not like a government will just come and end with one particular administration. No. Any administration should continue with the policy of the previous administration. If it's not going to be okay, you look into it, because some of it are being handled within the legal framework. If the federal government then look into within the legal framework, at least by now they should have averted this paying up to a lofty amount of money. That is, it's not okay for us. We are a struggling nation whereby we find it very difficult to generate revenue. Now, government is operating on a very lean revenue by borrowing. So, and we are paying over $400 million to a company.
Okay, so we're still going to discuss more. Let's look at the in case you're joining us for the first time, do not forget to send your comments on our comment section. Let's also discuss this with you, and we are going to let's look at other headline stories still on the Punch newspaper. We also have mega churches, schools bar old money note payment offering as an offering. So churches are giving policies that we don't want to collect the old money. And we also have new notes shortage, First Bank to shut ATM, customers demand extension. Rep 20th Emefiele with arrest, insist CBN governor must obey summon. And law professor sue CBN, NSC right Buhari over deadline extension. Let's just look at that.
Well, I don't think Emefiele should not assume as if it's above the law. So, if the House of Rep decide to invite him, it doesn't have any right to turn off their distance. And you now see that the Speaker of the House yesterday was furious about Emefiele's refusal to turn up, and he said that look, that they will order IGP, Inspector General of Police, a warrant of arrest, so that they will arrest him and bring him down to the National Assembly to answer some questions. In fact, at this point that Nigeria is dealing with this issue of this changing of the Naira, all hands should be on deck instead of having the legislature fighting the executive or the executive fighting the legislature. No, it shouldn't be on that this thing. These are representative of Nigerians. They are in the National Assembly because we gave them our mandate to be there. Every individual Nigeria cannot go to the central bank and question the CBN governor in respect of this policy. But the House have the right to question him to say, okay, give satisfactory answer to some of this their demand or some of the points they are going to raise. And based on what they are saying now is that look, that the time is too short, that it should be like a concurrent thing whereby the process of withdrawing the old currency and the process of issuing the new currency, it should go hand in hand for the next 6 months, so that
but 3 months is enough for you to like what the president said.
Doctor,
don't like what the president said. The president said 90 days, in fact, even 90 days is enough for anyone
to change his money.
Any amount of money. What kind of amount of money? That means you have more than what you are meant to have in your own.
But the fact is that we have our own culture, our culture of Nigerians to say, look, if you ask us to do something within a particular time, we will not do it.
Law now is an institution of Naira.
Well, probably the government is not telling us the truth regarding their aim of this changing of this Naira. If it is their aim of changing this Naira is only about cash control, they should be able to at least give that, at least even if it's going to be 1 month extension, they should be able to give that.
But the president always said that he will not give anybody room to use money to influence
election. Probably that is why they are insisting that the 31st the January must stay.
If you don't implement on 31st, then it's gone.
But let's look at it critically. Is it the politicians that will suffer it more or the ordinary Nigerians?
Ordinary Nigerians will suffer it, but the money will not be there because they say that now everybody will now be. No, see, the point, what I realized that, what I want to ask you now that, like I just called someone and who was a banker to verify what is going on in the banking sector. He said, look, we don't have, what's it called? The new currency across the counter. We can find it on all our ATM.
That is, it's accessible to every Nigerian that endeavor to go to the ATM to get it. So it's no cutback of saying you're a big man, you go to the counter, say give me this or that. Well, if they can do it that way, we commend them that look, they have done it that way. But a situation whereby those market women, that our culture in Nigeria here, 31st is still about 3 days to 31st or 4 days from now. But we cannot see that even corporate organizations like churches now decided to reject accepting the old currency. That is according to Punch report there. So it will create a kind of a chaotic situation, and that is where we are heading to right now. I don't know a situation about it will come now from tomorrow now. You now discover that even transporters will start rejecting old currency, whereas we still have on 31st before the deadline. You understand?
All right. So we also have another interesting story about. We're talking about a petrol scarcity. Protesters block Lagos-Ibadan expressway.
It's really sad because the lingering fuel situation is biting so hard, especially in Lagos and Abuja. It's biting so hard. In Abuja here, you now discover that most of the fuel stations, they cannot sell above the recommended pump price because of the penalties. The supervisory agency will not come after them. Likewise in Lagos too. But outside these two states, you discover that arbitrarily fuel stations are charging between 250 naira to 300 naira per liter. That is the situation. And vehicle can walk into the station and get their fuel and go because of the high charges. We keep on saying here that, look, if government is seeing that, look, they regulating the fuel pump price, if it's not going to work, instead of Nigerians continue to suffer this like this, they should completely deregulate it now, so that we know quite okay that, look, they have deregulated it. Let the market, the market forces now determine the prices, but there must be consequences that we must pay. Recall that in 2016, when federal government adjusted the hike the pump price, that was when we start having this problem of this inflation. From that time until now, we have not been able, our economy has not been able to record recovery. That is the situation. If the government decide to completely remove the subsidy and deregulate, you discover that the consequences will be too much on Nigerians to bear. Because if a pump price is now above 300 naira or thereabout, that transporter will adjust its own transportation fare too, and the market woman too will adjust, and everybody will continue to adjust, and that is how we continue to adjust. And let's not forget that the minimum wage is still 30,000 naira.
No, but the first scarcity is already everywhere now. It's
everywhere now, but if you observe states outside Lagos and the FCT here, motorists could walk into the station and
because
get
they're selling on a higher price.
Because they are selling on the higher price.
Like Rivers, we are selling 600 per liter. As I was speaking on that, 300 and something.
So that is the situation now.
Abuja maintained the government price. That is the price.
And that is why you discover that the queue
they were selling 700 naira.
You understand? That is the situation now. And if the deregulation is being done completely, you discover that Nigerians should be ready to pay between 500 to and above. You understand? And that is where we are afraid of. If Nigerians are paying very high for this product, something that we extract here, we only refine it over there because our refineries are now working. So you discover that Nigerians should be ready to pay the consequences.
But the question is that why are they still selling on jerry can? Because remember last time you see security agencies in Abuja were arresting those selling on jerry can. Because people use.
But this time around they are not even arresting again anymore.
So that was what happened, that they stopped selling on jerry can. But if you sell on cars in vehicle, you will see there will be no queue.
No.
Now they pay more attention on jerry can because they make people make more money.
And these are kind of a corrupt thing whereby between the independent marketers and the fuel stations. I don't think that if the price, the landing cost is affordable by the independent marketers, you discover that the fuel station will sell. It's just because all these things I'm seeing now is just an artificial scarcity. Artificial scarcity with the aim of government decide to come out to say, okay, official price, it should be 300 naira. By the time they say official price is 300 naira, and they will just come out and say, no, that is not what we want. If the government can decide to say, okay, fine, peg the price the way you want, you discover that there will be fuel everywhere.
All right, so let's also look at Daily Trust newspaper. In Daily Trust newspaper, we also have the same headline on Daily Trust: Bank short of new notes as ATM dry up. Sorry, I mean to say bank short of new notes as ATMs drop. And rep tackled commercial bank over new currency policy. We are constrained by CBN guidelines. Bank executive. Candidate blueprint cannot solve Nigerian problems, panelists. So we also have one interesting story. We forwarded CTC's attempt to hack fake virtual meeting, federal government.
There's nothing that is the Minister of Communication is telling Nigerians that, look, that there was an attempt to hack the fake server. Well, I don't think what are they trying? What are the hackers' aims of the hackers? That is what we don't know. Are they going to hack into, because I don't think it contains financial transaction between the federal government, sensitive materials. I don't think it contains, so because fake meeting is a meeting between the ministers and the president.
That is when it discuss government
policy matters.
Exactly.
So, but the policy matters,
some sensitive matters being discussed.
Well, except that, but hackers will be more interested where there is financial benefit. I don't think, except if those hackers are people that are being sponsored, where the opposition are being sponsored to attack and get some sensitive materials so that they disseminate it around. Well, it's sad that hackers who could make that attempt, but the best bet is what the Ministry of Communication is doing. They have been able to create that cyber security and defend the government database. Good kudos to them. They have done that. They have succeeded that. Good.
Next to show is we're going to show some clip of videos and pictures of the president visiting commission project in Katsina. Yes, yeah. And yesterday. But before we show you the photograph of that president visiting Katsina yesterday, let's look at Guardian newspaper. Guardian newspaper. We have. I didn't criticize Buhari over fuel scarcity Naira redesign, only offered advice. Tinubu clarify.
That should be afterthoughts, kind of damage control statement. Yeah. Because categorically, what he said in Abeokuta during the campaign is out there. It's something of viral. Everybody can recall it. Probably he's trying to offer an explanation to this earlier statement, and now he's now blaming PDP. He said PDP are colluding with saboteurs in the government. Who are the saboteurs in the government? Take for instance the issue of this Naira note. If we should take him by the statement he made 2 days ago in Abeokuta, of which he said the designing of Naira note and the fuel scarcity are all aimed at stopping him from victory. So it means that government policy now is now seeing it as if it's been designed because of only him. All this statement now is just afterthought words and damage control. We should just move forward beyond that. We are in an electioneering campaign. A lot of things will be said. You should just take it like that. But you should be mindful. Not only him, other politicians too, they should be mindful of the kind of statement that will come out from their mouth.
All right, so before we bring the picture of the visit yesterday, we also have, after several years, residents lament low space of cleanup. That is Nogoni.
Yeah.
You can see in the picture of the Guardian newspaper, you can see the pictures of people. I mean, they don't have good water. Yeah. And there was some.
I think it took the community to the extent of taking Shell to international court in Hague and secured the victory. So by now, I think government should stop neglecting oil producing communities, because this is where the oil is coming out from. And for for almost about two decades, this issue of Ogoni cleanup has been on, and government now came out to say, look, they are embarking. This particular government came out with the policy of pursuing that cleanup of Ogoni, of which they made it, I think, to about 2017 or thereabout. And since then, people are expecting a lot of work to be done, and until now, no much work has been done. And let's wait and see.
All right, so let's bring the picture of the visit yesterday of the President Muhammad Buhari yesterday. Some clip of photograph that we have for the commissioning of that project yesterday. We'll wait. Okay, so he had his comment yesterday, yeah. And the president said that he will go down in history.
Yeah.
His artisans in Nigeria is unquestionable, yeah. And so there's more coming to which project. Nigeria will be so grateful. I mean, having him as a president. What's your reaction to that?
It's like you and I scoring ourselves.
No, but infrastructure. If you look at infrastructure,
well, the president should allow Nigerians to score him, to rate him on that, not him coming out to say that. Well, whether we like it or not, history will judge him, because come May or June now, his own case will be completely out of office. So by the time he's out of office, Nigeria now had the opportunity to now say, okay, hey, President Buhari, when he was president of Nigeria, he did this, he did that, and they will either appreciate him, or based on the performance of the new administration, they said that they appreciate him or they vilify him. So
but I think his administration have more landmark projects, like invisible projects, same projects.
Well, we give him credit for that, because we have at least we have seen like second Niger bridge, Lagos Ibadan, the Warri line. There are some. In fact, in terms of infrastructure, we give him that credit. But it's just that the economy is not doing too well. So that is why Nigerians now are criticizing him. And the other aspect, which is the security situation that he has not been able to completely tackle based on the promises he made during his election. That is the situation now. But by and large, we commend him for infrastructure because there are some legacy projects that he has done embark on, of which in the next 50 years, 100 years, they will still be there. That is if the maintenance is there too.
Okay, before we reach, go to the next newspaper review, we also have a couple of pictures and videos to show you. There was a campaign in Benue State yesterday of APC presidential candidate Bola Ahmed Tinubu. There's a campaign there yesterday. We also have a campaign in Ebonyi yesterday of PDP presidential candidate, while the one of Labour Party was in
Southern Borno.
Yeah. Same campaign yesterday. So we'll bring out those clips before we bring the clips. We also have some visits of former president of Nigeria, President Olusegun Obasanjo, who visited Governor Wike
to see Governor Wike.
To see Governor Wike yesterday. We don't know what is cooking, what is going on there. Whether the governor is deciding to support Labour Party, which is where the former president belongs to, or he's also making up his mind as he speculated that he's going to support the All Progressive candidates.
Because it seems as if Wike is playing a kind of a game that nobody can easily predict. You understand? In that particular meeting yesterday, you now discover that John Fayemi, former governor of Ekiti, was there too. So John Fayemi is a member of APC. And one of the Tinubu's men. So nobody can easily predict to say that this is what Wike is doing. But I believe that the dilly-dallying, the time that has been all this talk, I will unveil my presidential candidate is dragging for too long. By now, he should make up his mind and state and tell Nigerians that, look, this is the person I'm going to support. Because if he failed to do that, the other members of that G5 governors, them too, they are eager to make their own independent choices.
There's one interesting story between the G5 governors, like the Governor Wike, Governor Bazo, Makande, and Onko, and Benue State Governor. Yeah. That one story that happened yesterday. So that this record that when Abia State PDP when they planned to flag off their campaign, they did not invite the national chairman. Rather, they invited the deputy Riverside governor. Yeah. Then the Riverside governor now hand over the flag, who's supposed to be member from the national chairman to the candidate. Now they have lost the candidates. They've lost the candidate. Candidate is no more, and they are looking for
a replacement.
And which is the responsibility of the national chairman to write to the INEC.
See,
how will they solve that problem?
I pray the Abia PDP did not encounter legal problem that it will lead during the election tribunal and it will lead to disqualification. That is where they are heading to. So, and I believe that Governor Ikpeazu, who is the head of the party within the state, I believe that as a law-abiding party man, he will not do anything that will jeopardize the interest of the party in the nearest future. So, and what is he going to do this time around? He will allow the party structure within the state to write officially to the national body, so that they will come and conduct the primary election for the party to replace the governor candidate that died. I believe he will do that. He will not do anything to say, okay, shortchange the national body from conducting the party primary. I don't think he will do that.
All right, let's look at the Nation newspaper. The Nation newspaper, we have petrol crisis. PDP collided with saboteur, says Tinubu. Atiku trying to pit Tinubu against Buhari. Protesters block Benin Lagos Road. And we've discovered that Nigerian elites are selfless, says Buhari. And so let's look at the accusation again. The first one was the president, the second one is the PDP. So maybe it's political. Don't you think that what is happening in Nigeria now is all pure political?
Well, there's politics in everything, even including in at the family level. There is politics, because if you have like 2-3 children, you play that politics, you will be able to like unite them together. So if the APC presidential candidate is now saying that, look, his earlier statement was different from what he meant, and the PDP is now like lashing on the earlier statement, that is where the politics is now come in. The fact is that I don't see politics behind the changing of the Naira and the current fuel situation, because the current fuel situation, it didn't start now. This is something that started early last year, and it continued to linger to this very moment. It's not something that is new. It's just that as a party that belongs to the ruling party, that is why it's now coming out to us. It's not feeling too easy to say, okay, by now governments ought to have solved this problem, so that they'll have something that they will use to campaign and tell Nigerians to say, look, we don't have a fuel situation, we don't have a fuel suffering situation. But for now, as long as the fuel situation lingers and people are suffering, certainly they will call on the ruling party. And who is the ruling party now? We have Tinubu, and that is the situation. Now he's now saying that, look, what he said is different, and what the PDP meant is are pushing and like trying to like create a rift between him and the President Buhari. That is what he's saying now. Well, to me, just like we said earlier, it's more or less like a damage control from the earlier statement.
So one of the interesting story in the Nation newspaper is CBN planned card transaction through Africa, which is a domestic card payment structure that has been launched. Yeah. So everything will be launched on that platform. Then let's bring you pictures and videos of. Let's begin with the Benue State yesterday, where the all progressive presidential candidates launched his campaign yesterday, and you could see the mama crowd and the excitement of the Benue people. Let's bring the video for you. After watching, we'll come back to you. See the excitement from the campaign ground. From the campaign ground. And what do you have to say?
Well, to me, I'm afraid of the coming presidential election. Is like, because if we should use the crowd, the kind of mammoth crowd as indices, you discover that virtually all the campaign ground from all the political parties, people used to turn out. So it means that it's going to be a very big problem if we should base on what is happening within the campaign ground. But the good thing is that some of these people that you see at the APC presidential campaign ground, when PDP come around, some of them will still turn up again. And Labour Party come again, they will still turn up again. So we are not going to do that. But the interesting part is that come 25th of February, that will be the D-Day whereby all this will now be put to rest. Whoever become a winner, it will become a history.
All right, so let's also bring you pictures of the Atiku Abubakar that was in Ebonyi yesterday, and you can see the mammoth crowd that was there present. Him, his wife, Atiku's wife, and I mean, people keep wondering, is Igbos ready for PDP or APC? Because when the opposition candidate, presidential candidate was in Abia State, you can see the crowd, mammoth crowd.
Well, Dr. Israel, just like I said, if we are going to use the crowd, it means that the election will be too tight to predict. But the good thing is that come February 25th, some of these people you are seeing, some of them, they are here for PDP, but some of them are APC. some of them are here. They are for Labour Party, but some of them are here. So we are not going to use the kind of crowd we see here to decide to predict the winner of the election. So all these are jamborees. They are political jamborees whereby they are neither here nor there. So we are not going to use this. But the crowd here is huge. Consider the fact that this is a APC state, whereby David Umehi is one of the strongest party man within from the southwest there. So, and you now see this kind of crowd. So it's something that will give it to Atiku to say, okay, he has been able to like pull up this kind of crowd in.
We also have P2B yesterday
in Southern Borno
State. Yeah, Southern Borno State. We have. We're going to show you. We are showing you pictures of P2B in Southern Borno State, and I think there was a crowd in Southern Borno yesterday. So
P2B to me is more or less like his campaign. When he's taking his campaign to some of those places, it's more of strategic because, for instance, you look during the Christmas time, he was in the IDP camp in Benue, and now he's now visiting IDP camp in Southern Borno, whereby people are affected. These are people that are kind of marginalized, are being left out, and then he's reaching out to them. This is the kind of political strategy that is pulling. I believe that any presidential candidate has been able to identify with the Southern Borno, but this time around, you have a Labour Party, a new person is identifying with them, is going to visit people within the Southern Borno there. People have been affected by been ravaged by the terrorism in Southern Borno. I know Borno very well. The Southern Borno is more or less like isolated from the northern and central part of Borno. But he is reaching out to them.
We'll have a video. Let's just play the video. Let's see what. We'll have the video. Just. Can see the crowd, and you can see it. One wonder if it is in the northern area, because we were told that Labour Party doesn't have structure in any of the states, and they're nowhere to be found, or they find them online. And if you notice some of their campaigns, they keep telling you this money we mobilize ourselves. Nobody paid us to come here. But somebody said there for yesterday that most people, like for the two major parties, that they're being mobilized, funded, and all that. But this one, they use their money to fund themselves. And what will be the difference at the end of the day?
You see, if you look at the political strategy of campaign strategy of Labour Party, Peter Obi, for instance, what he's doing is like the neglected people. That is where he's going to harvest to harvest their support. That is what he's doing. He did not go to Maiduguri to say, okay, he's campaigning in Maiduguri, but he now went to Southern Borno. Southern Borno is like a complete region within the Borno state, whereby people are being neglected. People are affected by the Boko Haram insurgency. They have been neglected. So that is where he now took his campaign to. And don't forget that the Southern Borno again, because of religious configuration, you discover that they are mostly Christians, and you discover that because of the insurgency, they are affected, and they have been shortchanged. Since they are shortchanged, I now see Peter Obi is not taking the campaign down to them. We commend him. At least in politics, you should be able to harvest from what your opponent decided to neglect.
Okay, so let's look at the Daily Sun newspaper. In the Daily Sun newspaper, we have 309 Nigerians renounce citizenship in 2022 federal government. People that leave the country. We also have elections. Military warned troublemakers vow to do decisively with those who plotting to scatter polls. Pledge neutrality.
Yeah, they have been warning. They have been warning a series of warning. Based on what President Buhari has been saying, that look, that he warned the police, the military, that they should be neutral, and now the military they are coming out to say that look, they are going to be neutral. Good that the military is supposed to be neutral, because they are the bedrock of the federation, they are the bedrock of our republic. So if they are not supposed to partake in anything politicking, they should be neutral and ensure that election is conducted free and fair. By the end of the day, you discover that the police are in charge of anything relating to security matters during an election. But military too should be able to like assist them, and that is what the military is now assuring Nigerians that they are going to do.
All right, so let's look at the Tribune newspaper. In the Tribune newspaper, we have "Leave us out of your problem with Buhari." Article team tells Tinubu how federal government forged 66 attempt to hack fake virtual meeting. Put end to fuel new Naira note. New Naira note crisis now, Jerry Ghana tells federal government. National Assembly leaders to meet Buhari. Rep threatened Emefiele with arrest warrant, and there's a call for extension of deadline. Says policies not well thought out. 5 days to end of the currency exchange. Business outfit begin rejection of old notes. I mean, let's look at that. They also have airstrike for 40 killed. National government confirm.
Yeah. Well, the aspect of the National Assembly leaders going to meet President Buhari, I believe that they are going to like a kind of behind the scene approach, whereby they will like beg him, plead with him, make him serious into say, okay, they want this thing to be extended, because just like many other Nigerians, they would like to see at least a window of opportunity whereby people that have their money should be changed before the expiration. But as it is now, it's not going to be possible, because a lot of people still keep their money in their house, and now it's not that the injury time that they are taking it to the bank, of which there is this serious congestion within the bank whereby they cannot easily change it. That is the situation today. So if the National Assembly leadership decide to say, okay, they are going to meet President Buhari, they should be able to meet him and tell him the truth, to say, okay, look, we need a window of opportunity to give that opportunity to Nigerians, because as it is now, it's only President Buhari now that can intervene in this matter, because the CBN governor has already said that, look, the deadline is, they are going to stick to it. There is nothing like any extension. And then discovered that even yesterday that the Speaker of the House now decided to threaten to say, okay, they will order the police to arrest Emefiele. That is the situation. They should meet.
Why would they arrest Emefiele? That's the question.
Because they are in.
No, why would they arrest Emefiele?
The National Assembly has the power to summon him.
Excuse me, they had the power to summon him, but why would they be arrested? Because now, let's look at it this way. They are saying that they should allow us to use the old note and new note for 6 months.
For 6 months. And they are inviting him to come to appear before them and explain, and he refused to go. That is the situation today.
The problem is that appearing before them will be more indictments.
But he should
they will throw some stones that he may not reject.
But they have the constitutional right to summon whoever is a public servant or public servant to appear before them, and he should be able to appear before them. They
have the same right to sack him.
They can make recommendation, but not to sack him. They can make recommendations, say he should be sacked, and that is where they are heading to now.
Okay. It's only the president has the power to sack him.
It's only the president that has the power to sack for the sack, but they can make recommendations, say, look, we are no longer comfortable because he's a public servant. You understand? So that is the situation. I believe that the manner of approach from the National Assembly didn't follow it well, because they shouldn't heat up Nigeria polity through this. By now, they should be able to since President Buhari is the head of the state and the head of the executive, the National Assembly, which is another arms of the government, they should interface between the National Assembly and the executive to make sure that whatever thing they are going to push to the CBN too will align, because they are the representative of Nigerians. They didn't put themselves there. They are representing us, and as that market woman in the Wuse market or Garki market is not happy that she wants a window of opportunity so that an extension, and you understand, the people that can speak to the CBN is the National Assembly, and that is what they are calling him to say, oh, come, gentlemen, come, let's tell us what is the situation of things, and he's refusing to go.
All right, thank you so much. You've had today one of the important stories is in new Naira. Do you have the new Naira notes now? If you have, let's see.
New Naira is not a hot cake.
If you don't have, please make sure you get the Naira notes.
But let me ask you this way: do you think the bankers as an individual banker, staff of a bank, do they have it on their own? On their own?
They should have.
Because what they are telling us is, if you want it, you go to the ATM.
No, but they should have. But it's better for you to be at the ATM, but for you to pack. Someone will pack like 1 million, 2 million to give to one particular person. Because MTN will not allow you to withdraw up to that amount.
Yeah.
Now, what they want us to do is that take amount of money that is okay for you.
For you.
Anything above 100 and something thousand, and do a transfer.
Transfer, yeah. Even if, as it is now, the way we are going to now is that even if you are going to make any transaction, 1,000, 2,000 naira, you should do your transfer instead of that cashless. That is where we are heading to now.
What Nigeria would have been processing would have been the debit.
That debit charges.
Yeah, that one
It's like it has increased to 100 naira per transaction.
No, it's not. It's 45.
Because you keep on seeing some.
No. You have to check your bank very well.
I saw something. I made the transfer and I saw 100 naira say, is this stamp duty or something like that?
Read the statement very well. When he says stamp duty, it's the end of the month. Check properly.
So, but it's like every now and then they are giving a stamp duty.
Say, okay, we are going to digital banking.
Yeah.
They reduce the tariff. Yeah. That make a lot of sense.
I think that is where they should head to instead of allowing.
Yes, of course, because what they're trying to do, like Mr. President have said, 3 months is enough, 90 days is enough for you to whichever money that you have in Nigeria, like go and put this money in your bank. Call your account officer, mop the system. You will see trucks in Kano, money that have stayed for more than 10 years.
Yeah.
And people are hungry.
These are traders. Some of these traders, they depend on cash every day. They must have this.
I also bureau the change.
The change. So it's the process of achieving that cashless society, cashless economy is going to take some time, and I believe that is why they are inviting Emefiele to make him understand the merit for extension, and it's not trying to make himself available to the National Assembly. Let's see. It's going to be very interesting next week if he refuses to go turn up again.
Like I said before, do you have the new Naira notes? If you don't have, go to the nearest ATM now and get it. For those who are doing business, how many days we have?
We still have 4 days.
4 days to go.
But some of them are refusing to accept the old currency.
Yes, how to change this policy, it must be new currency. Please check yourself properly. Do not forget, keep a sample of the old Naira notes for history.
Yeah.
Don't forget. Keep a sample of old Naira notes for history. Don't forget, because our next generation will also have to know what
where we are coming from,
look like, and where we are coming from after everything. Thank you so much for joining us today. If it's still your first time you're joining us, do not forget that this is Aspheric News and Aspheric TV and newspaper headlines update. And do not forget to follow us on our social media handle. It's out there on the screen, official Aspheric News. That is on Facebook page, Aspheric News on our Instagram, and Aspheric News on our Twitter handle page. Do not forget, most importantly, do not forget to read more about Aspheric on www.asphericnews.com, and I repeat, www.asphericnews.com. Also, do not forget to click on our YouTube page. Our YouTube page is important. Please, YouTube page is to be. Please, in case you have not subscribed, please don't just watch, just subscribe. Click on the YouTube button. Please, we beg you, subscribe, and also click on the notification button to get notification whenever we are live on our program. We'll keep trying our best to bring you more updates on this platform. Thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you also for sharing our views. Thank you for sharing, but also those who are sending us content. Thank you so much for sharing our content with you. Thank you so much, and we'll meet you again. Bye for now.